What was the point to where you decided, hey, it's time to give this a full go? Like we're done with the job thing.
Yeah. Um, so um, so kind of fast forward after the first year, like I got my first deal, and then like I landed 5 deals pretty much.
Yeah,
There,
actually, yeah. Let's go back there. So
yeah,
it took a year, right, to get that first deal.
took me a first year of just networking, grinding, studying, late nights. And
How'd
I
you
was
find it?
impatient. Yeah,
Like
I was impatient.
what marketing source?
That's the thing. Like I was so scattered brain that I was like doing half-ass marketing. I was like sending mailers, they all failed because I didn't do multiple rounds of mailers and
Hmm.
I didn't do follow-up. I would the only marketing thing that I had was like Craigslist, bandit signs, and going to networking groups because
Hmm.
I literally just spent my last like 40K pretty much and I'm trying to pay off this debt. So I was doing everything else that I could to generate leads. And um, what really got me my first deal was networking. I networked with local meetup RIA groups, my own fortune builder group that I actually bought into. And so a deal passed, another fortune builder student sent me a deal that they didn't want. It was a full gut rehab. It's probably not the first deal that I would recommend anybody because it was a vacant shell. It was built in 1900. It had no roof. It was a fire damaged property. Not
Yeah,
not a good
that,
recommendation.
that's quite a learning experience.
Yeah. Um, I literally everything that happened to this property, like everything that could go wrong went wrong on this property, and I barely made it out. I broke even because the
You,
market saved me.
so you broke even in a
Yeah.
very risky, dangerous situation, but
Yeah.
on the plus side, the knowledge that you gain that you can't learn in books. I
Exactly.
mean, there's just no way any mastermind program or a course or whatever can teach you what you just went through. That's the street knowledge. So that is vastly more valuable than everything else you did before. While
Exactly.
risky and yeah, you do have to be careful of those kind of things.
Yeah.
Um, you came out broke even, but
Yeah.
now going forward, how long did it take you to get deal number two?
So deal number two came like as soon as I got that deal, maybe a month later. So I was
So
like,
a
yeah.
year to get deal number one, 30 days to get deal number
So,
two.
and then another deal came after, and then another deal came after. Within the span of like another 3 months, I got 3 more deals.
How much
And
did that do you attribute to confidence?
um I wouldn't say, well, confidence did contribute a little bit to it because of the knowledge that I spent day in and day out learning. Um, but it was more,
Confidence, yeah. I mean, in your ability to analyze a deal and then
yeah,
also translate that into sales negotiation conversations.
yeah. But all of these deals were just were wholesale deals to
Yeah.
me. Yeah. So these weren't like deals that I've done direct seller to.
Okay.
Um,
But do you feel like before deal number one, were you pitching other deals and you just didn't get them? Or that was
yeah,
the
I was
first
pitching
deal
other
you were all
deals.
in on? So
Yeah,
okay,
I
so
was
you were
pitching.
pitching other deals. It's just maybe you were being ultra conservative because you were scared.
That was part of it too, as well. But I
Okay.
think the major part of it was that I didn't have good negotiation and
Yeah.
skills with the seller, and I
Yeah.
was also very petrified to talk to any sellers.
Yeah.
Then,
Okay.
yeah,
So I mean, you're dealing with wholesalers, which
hmm
obviously a much different conversation.
yeah,
But I tell this to real estate agents too. Like when they get the first client, or whether you get your first flip or wholesale deal, it's just it does take longer to get that first one. But you always
hmm
find that deal number two, three, or four, it comes much faster because now you got a little confidence,
yep,
whether it's obvious or not. That does permeate, but you also have the
yeah,
experience, transaction. You know a little bit about what's going on.
yep,
You're not a pro yet, but you're starting to get the hang of it, and that's how
yeah.
boom, 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 boom. It's funny how that works.
That is very true. That you make a really good point, and that kind of like looking back on it now, that kind of was what's happening. I got a little more confidence, build up, like it kind of snowballed effect. Um, and so, at the time I had like 5 renovations going at one time. And
Which
I
is
was in,
insane for a new investor.
yeah, it's insane. And 3 of those out of the 5 were full guts, which I do not recommend. And then a full-time job on top of that. So I was literally like a maniac at work. I was like trying to get all my work done as a software
Yeah.
engineer and
How was
then
your quality of
taking
sleep during that time?
and I was trying to maximize every break I had, everything that I had as far as time wise. And eventually that got me fired. uh,
Of course. Boss saw
yeah,
you slipping and was like, "Hey, look,
yeah,
you got to make a choice here," or he's like, "No, no, you're out."
yeah. He pretty much my current job, my first job fired me, and so and a lot of people would freak out, right? But I had so many things in the fire that I didn't have time to worry about getting another job. And so I went ahead and just finished the renovation. I think that was a blessing in disguise too. And then that helped me finish the other renovations. And then roughly about the third renovation, I started to look for another job. Um, and I landed another software engineering job at this quarry aggregation. They sell rocks for like gravel for roads, which is a huge industry that did not know about. It's luck companies, and they're a billion-dollar family company that's been around for over 100 years, which is just here in Virginia, North Carolina, and Georgia, roughly. Um, and they make about $1.5 million a day just selling gravel,
Jeez.
which is insane to
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Just selling
for
rocks.
dirt. Yeah, rock.
Yeah, it's insane.
See,
And
hey kids, like not all business has to be sexy. Like you can sell
exactly.
rocks and make
Yeah.
$1 billion.
I had a mind-blowing epiphany or experience with like just walking through their real estate and like just they would have a in their headquarters, they would have like a TV saying how much money they make every hour. It's just insane. Um, so I took a little break after those 5 renovations because I was a little bit burnt out. And then I kind of reassessed my business at that time and I found that like everybody else in the real estate industry, deal flow, it was like my crux, like
Mm-hmm.
where I have the most weakness in. And so, that led me to Google again. And so I end up finding Pace Morby in the sub 2 group. And I went ahead and joined another mentorship. And the key lesson to here is that even though you join one, mentorship group, you shouldn't always just be comfort or be, stagnant in that one group. You should always go out and, continue to build your network and continue to grow as an individual and gain more knowledge because it helps you become a better entrepreneur, helps you
Yeah,
better
groups
father,
typically have their
whatever.
own personality,
Yeah,
and I mean, one, they can be very niche. They're not
they can.
all really niche, but they can be, and regardless, they're gonna have their own culture, so they're gonna have their own conversation piece and
Yeah,
theme, if you will. So getting outside of that is going to help expand growth because at some point you'll almost always outgrow a certain organization. At least you'll reach some point of limited returns
right.
for a group.
You mostly will. And I'm not saying anything bad about Fortune Builders, just like that group. It wasn't very cohesive. It wasn't like a go-giver group per se. It's kind of like all for your own kind of deal.
Yeah.
Whereas Pace's group, I've experienced the totally opposite of that, where everybody's all about helping each other and helping each other grow and expand. And Pace Morby is just a person that he's always giving to his students. And I've never met a mentor like that ever. And he's still giving. He's giving more value than what I gave him. So,
Yeah.
um, so with that new mentorship group, I actually found my next business partner, and he took me from 0 rentals to pretty much 15 rentals in a matter of over 2 years. growing my net worth to significantly more than what it was before.
And did you want rentals before that moment? Or is it something that he sparked in you like, hey, look, yeah, I need to start accumulating rentals?
No, actually, I've always wanted rentals, but I didn't have the knowledge or the money capital to acquire them, or the actual other knowledge of like buying rentals subject to,
Yeah.
which is
Which
assuming
which
people's
which
mortgage.
really is now not money, it's
Yeah,
knowledge.
it's
You
just
didn't have the
knowledge, right?
knowledge. And I
Yeah,
really want to stress this point because when I was reading your profile, um, that made me smile because you see a lot of wholesalers and flippers like they go do 100, 200, 500, and they don't really own anything. They
yeah,
don't own, and that's no different from a real estate agent that has done 1,000 transactions and the only home that they own is their own personal residence,
right.
or working a job
Yeah,
and the only asset you own is your 401k. Nothing wrong with that. It's just going to be really, really slow and difficult to build wealth.
hmm,
And at the end of the day, once you stop working, your W-2 job, income stops. You stop
yeah,
working with clients, your commission like goes to zero. You stop wholesaling, income stops. Stop flipping, income stops. Stop buying rentals. Well, you still kind of have all the other rentals you bought.
yeah,
It's not like 100% passive, like some people sell it as, but it is wealth building, and that is on your balance sheet, and that does look
hmm,
good if you run your business right.
exactly. So that's always been the goal because when I was 26, so kind of circling back in that age, I set a very ambitious goal at the time that I thought I wanted to become financially free by 35, meaning I want the passive income that is coming in every single month to cover my expenses so I don't have to worry about finances. But furthermore, I wanted to start a family by 35. And so I get to spend the time that I never got from my family, my parents, onto my children. So I actually want to spend all the moments that I have with my children, so I can raise them, so I can become a good father, their best friend, or whatever they need me to be. So that was my driving why, on why I even did all of this in the beginning.